Hello, I'm Sarah Steyert, and I'm going to be talking about job swaps and rotations. So, some of the pros of job swaps or rotations are increased engagement, increased motivation, increased flexibility for workers, increased scheduling flexibility, and increased employee knowledge. Engagement is likely to go up just because if you're not stuck doing the same job day in and day out, you're probably going to be more involved in what your job actually is and in the learning process. Increased motivation, again, same thing. You're not having to do the same exact thing every single day, and you're learning something new. I think for a lot of people that is pretty motivating. Increased flexibility for workers is going to be if there's more people who know how to do your job, same with scheduling, these kind of go together. If there's more people who are capable of doing your job, then there's more room for people to take time off or call out sick if necessary, and somebody else to step up and take their place. Likewise, if you're in certain types of positions where you may not typically have enough techs to do a job, but now everyone has been trained into this position, you could potentially schedule more people to go and do those jobs because everyone would know how to do it. Increased employee knowledge, pretty much everyone inside of the business would know how to run every aspect of it. And then, of course, internal talent. If everybody knows how to do everything, then you have an amazing pool of talented individuals to pull from when it's time for promotions. Cons of job swaps and rotations. I chewed on this a little bit because I think in almost every job that I've been in, there's been rotations throughout the type of work that is done there, the different positions. I would say, I guess one of the cons would be that no one would really be an expert because they wouldn't have spent their entire life in one position. They would be jacks of all trades instead of the masters of one. Restarting training process frequently. Actually, one of my customers does this every 11 to 18 months. They rotate out the positions that people are working in, and this includes moving them to different parts of the country, whether they have a family or not. That company does pay for the move, so good for them. But it leaves the person replacing them without a lot of training. Typically, the replacement doesn't come in until the person has already left the position. So basically, there's just a bunch of paperwork left for that person to train themselves into the position. And so for when they're working with us, and my job is safety related regarding drivers, it takes a really long time for them to train back into the position and be at the same level as the person that I had worked with before, just because they're rotating out so frequently. Sustainability of the model can be questionable. Like I said, I've worked in a lot of places where this is the model, and that's just how it is. Everybody trains into all the positions, but there are businesses where the individual jobs would probably be too intricate to train into every single one of them. The amount of knowledge that you'd be trying to retain in your head might become overwhelming. Certain positions might not be for you. For example, for me, I struggle with math. Finance would not be the best place for me to have to work for 18 months. I suppose I'd probably walk away a little bit better at math than I currently am, but I simply would not do great in that environment. I don't know how rotating people through every single job instead of giving them options to move into certain positions or not move into certain positions would work. I think it could be bad if you move people into jobs that they are not interested in or know that they're going to be struggling in. So that's why I would say sustainability of the model would be questionable and consider that a con. So my ideal job rotation in the job that I currently work in, I just put down what happened to me. Unfortunately, I guess rotation wouldn't be the right word for this. I think this has been job enlargement for me because I've pretty much taken on all of these roles. But ideally, I started out as a customer engagement manager. Ideally, it would have been nice to come in as that and then move into implementation, which is kind of our engineering team. So they're more their job is related to the actual equipment, and then they also work with customers. From there, learning warehouse management would have been interesting, but instead I just kind of got it thrown in with the tasks that I already do. Then becoming an account manager would have been good. Now I'm all of these things. And then last to learn would have been finance, and then loop back through and maybe do these things over and over or take on more responsibilities from them all after having learned all of these positions. Um, For a job swap in a business I own, would I do it? It would really depend on the type of business that it is. Most likely, yes. Like I said, I've seen this be successful in a lot of different jobs. So I do think that it could be good. For me personally, I think I would train people into all of the jobs over a period of time with the intention of keeping them as long as possible. Like I would love to own a business where people would want to stay there long enough to retire from it. And in that sense, it'd be great for everyone to have an idea of how the whole business works instead of being an expert in one area and having no idea what anyone else does. So depending on the business, most likely yes. That's all I have. Thank you.